Give no instructions for anyone to replace him. Is that
No,
correct?
that is correct.
When you spoke with Narang, you gave advice
Well,
with regards to Imran Khan.
two things. One, I give an undertaking to ensure that Imran Khan returns whenever he is required, if he can go on his own recognizance instead of the 20,000 cash bail that was posed to him. And secondly, I give my opinion on the issue of bail for Nizam Khan.
Now, did you ask Narang to be briefed on the issue of the alleged plot to assassinate the president?
No, I
Or
did not.
He volunteer that he
I did not ask for a brief. Having engaged him regarding the issue of bail for Imran Khan, of going in recognizance instead of cash bail, he proceeded to brief me on the matter.
So you gave no instruction as well to Narang or any other police to put Nizam Khan or Gillard on bail?
No, and I only know when this inquiry started that Gillard was actually arrested.
You know what offense he was arrested for?
I can only speculate. I don't. Might have been the allegation made by Imran Khan of threats.
I see. As far as you're aware, in spite of all the evidence collected in the police file, no charges have been laid against Gillard for giving false information to the police.
No, I am aware that no charge was advised.
Do you believe that there is sufficient evidence for such a charge to be instituted?
I rely on the advice of the police legal advisor.
And in that regard, what was the advice?
The advice was that the evidence is tenuous, further investigations be conducted,
I see.
but no charge was advised. Whenever charges are advised, it's specifically state.
But the file is still open.
The investigation is
Charges
still
to
the
be-
investigation is still open,
And,
given the last advice of the police legal advisor.
and the advice of the police legal advisor, who, as was mentioned, is a retired court of appeal judge,
Yes,
was that the facts against Nizam Khan, as reported by Gillard, was of a very tenuous nature.
yes.
And subsequent statements collected have corroborated the tenuous nature of that complaint.
When you speak of subsequent statements after that advice, that last advice of the thing, or subsequent to the report. Well, yes, subsequent statements collected since Gillard's statement was obtained did tend to support the tenuous nature of the allegation and the issues we have with the credibility of Gillard.
One moment. Now, while you were on your vacation leave, just to be clear, you were still a substantive commissioner.
Yeah, my understanding of the law is that there is one commissioner of police and that an acting commissioner, the issue of an acting commissioner only arises if that commissioner is on pre-retirement leave or if the office becomes vacant.
And you have not as yet gone on pre-retirement.
No.
So even while on temporary leave, so to speak, you were still the commissioner of police.
That's my understanding of the law.
And do you know whether Mr. Ramnarayan was ever appointed by instrument to be the acting commissioner of police?
I am not aware of any instrument that was issued to him by the president. And I am aware that until last year that didn't happen.
Throughout your time as commissioner of police, while on annual leave, you would constantly provide advice to the members of the Glann Police Force?
Yeah, a lot of the senior officers would call, including the acting commissioner, and I will advise on the issues that they call for. Additionally, several members of the public will reach me and make complaints, and I called whoever I think needs to address those complaints, make arrangement for those persons to meet with them, and sometimes advise on a procedure.
And that is how you have always operated,
Yes.
even while on leave? You
Yes.
play a part
Yes,
in the...
I cannot turn my back.
This particular case was no exception to your general routine?
No.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Prasad, this is a clarification.
Yes, sir.
And perhaps I will pick up from just where we left off about leave, about bail, sorry. I think you're saying that you did not advise or instruct for Nizam Khan to be sent on bail?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
What was it? You
I give an opinion.
gave an opinion?
Yes,
And
sir.
what was that opinion?
My opinion was that given the circumstances that show the credibility of Gillard was in serious question, and that this investigation would not conclude within any 72 hours, that it will be wrong for us to put Nizam Khan in custody.
And I think, thanks.
And I would have put him on bail.
Well, all right. And I think you did say that you consider the offense, the allegation of any plan or plot to assassinate the president as treasonous?
Yes, plot to kill anyone is, and in these circumstances, engage in a conversation is inciting murder. And when the murder is that of the president, there can be circumstances that leads to treason.
No, you say with the murder, but I'm talking about the plan in itself.
Well, I don't know there was a plan. I know
Or
that
the
there
alleged
was an offer made.
Well, the alleged offer.
Yes.
Okay, you based on the clip that we looked, you said that you consider that treasonous.
Yeah, that's the public information. That's the seriousness at which we are taking.
All right, and then you also spoke about bail in relation to standing order.
Yes.
And you suggested that the standing order says that person should not be kept in custody longer than necessary.
Yes.
All right. I suspect then you're referring to standing order 74?
74.
All right. And just remind me, or just as far as you can recall, what 74 says about granting bail.
He said that persons charged with murders or treason should not be granted bail, and went on to say that no one should be in custody a moment longer than is absolutely necessary. It went on to spell out who should make the decision on bail, and also go on to speak about bail on issuance of warrants and so on by the court.
Right, they say person charged.
Yes.
In the circumstance of a person being in police custody, how do you define charge?
Charge could be where there is some amount of evidence.
Not necessarily charge and put before the court.
Not necessarily.
All right, good. So
Not necessarily.
having said that, let me read Standing Order 74-1 and 2 and get a response.
Yes.
From you. Standing Order 74-1 speaks about bail and generally. It says the police are charged with the obligation of initiating action for granting bail at the very earliest opportunity after arrest. Such initiation action must not under any circumstances be left to some agency outside of the force. The underlying principle involving the granting of bail is nothing less than the liberty of the subject. The cardinal principle on which the whole concept of justice is based, that is 74-1. 74-2 goes on to say, to retain in custody a moment longer than is absolutely necessary any person charged with an offense other than the offense concerning which there is a complete prohibition on the grant of bail, such as treason, misprision of treason, treason felony, or murder, is a grievous violation of this cardinal principle. How do you reconcile your previous statement with standing order?
Yes, sir, because the evidence of given in this particular case by the person making the allegation was there were serious credibility issues, and my judgment was that at that stage we cannot rely on what he was saying to the police.
Well, I always said that, Mr. Basad, I would have thought that would be the reason for him to be kept in custody.
No, we may end up, sorry if we do that, to have everyone out there who has a grouch with somebody come in and make similar allegations to get us 72 hours from the police.
Let me say this, and you're saying, I think you said something along the line that you support Glann being charged with giving false information as a report.
I support the recommendation
The
of the
recommendation.
investigator, yes.
And you also spoke about the advice of the PLA.
Yes.
Are you aware that the police legal advisor on the 16th of May 2017 advised us, while I'm of the view that a confrontation would be instructive